Hello, everyone. So this take one is going to be about two things that have developed this last week about Disney Plus, and they kind of go hand in hand, the way that I think about them. And I want this to foster more discussion in the coming weeks and months, and with people outside of the class, if people have discussion on it as well. What I'm talking about is first the um, decision was made, or the announcement was made, or the first thing we will talk about is Dancing with the Stars moving from ABC and its live format to live format on Disney Plus starting in the fall. And this is really, really interesting because if you remember a few months ago, Disney Plus aired, they didn't advertise it before, but they aired a live segment of Good Morning America where the anchors on the Good Morning America set were talking about the Oscars and the Oscar nominees. And they, like I said, they didn't promote it beforehand. They promoted it, or they talked about it afterwards, saying it was a successful trial run. And you can actually go and you could watch it on Disney Plus now, and you could see how that transpired in the live format. So now what's really, really interesting is taking a very popular show like Dancing with the Stars and not putting it in a recorded basis where it would show up the next day on Disney Plus, but actually having it where if you want to watch that show, the only way you'll be able to watch it is on Disney Plus. That's a very, very interesting move and points towards something that I've talked to a few people about. And if you want more information on some of those discussions, I've talked to Roger Palmer about it from what's on disneyplus.com. He's spoken in the class 2 times. And I've also talked to Sean Gerber about it when he was joining me to talk about streaming and streaming competition and what's the future of entertainment. And we talked about live entertainment and what is the future of live entertainment. Um, and does this point toward the possibility of more live entertainment functions? And does it potentially point toward live sport entertainment? Now, the Walt Disney Company in their bundle has ESPN Plus. And so it's been rumored and discussed that maybe in the future, we're actually going to see Disney Plus, and instead of having just the 5 brands we have right now in the United States, we would have 6 or 7 brands. Internationally, they have 6 brands because a lot of international countries include Star within their Disney branding. Um, but maybe in the United States, we would see Disney Plus that had 7 brands across the top of the screen, where one of those would be Hulu or Star, depending on what they want to do with Hulu, and then possibly an ESPN Plus, because ESPN Plus does show live events. And it's really, really interesting that we're going this route. And what does it spell for the future of streaming entertainment? Is it going to take on more a model of what we think of as terrestrial television and network television? Disney is not the first company or the only company that's kind of trying to get into the space and play around with these different types of options. At various points, other companies have done that as well. But this is a very big move to take a show like Dancing with the Stars and all its popularity and its long run in association with ABC and the Walt Disney Company and put it on the premier streaming service for the company. And that leads into the second topic that I want to talk about is the announcement or idea that ad supported free Disney Plus subscriptions may be on their way. And I find this very interesting from 2 perspectives. One perspective would be that people are already paying for the service. And um, this may seem like a way to get more subscribers onto the service, which could have positive benefits and negative outcomes as well. And what I'm talking about with the negative outcomes really comes from the idea of consumer prestige. If you're purchasing something and you're paying for something, there's a perception that there's more value in it, or more perceived value that you get from that service, because you're having to give something up for it. So therefore, you are obviously willing to spend the resources on that, the monetary resources. So then you may be more likely to spend your time resources on it, and devote your more attention to it. Now, another example that comes to mind with this is a few years back, probably 5 or 6 years ago now. If everybody remembers, when Apple introduced a different version of the iPhone that was supposed to be more cost friendly for consumers, and that only lasted 1 year. And a big reason they ceased to offer that more price responsible option is because what it did to the brand. People associated prestige with the Apple brand and with the iPhone brand. And so when that cost was lowered, then some people didn't like that. And it obviously, it would have brought more people onto the Apple platform and using Apple devices and things like that. I'm sure it worked in that regard. But the fact that it only lasted 1 year seems to suggest what analysts were saying at the outright, that maybe it was doing something to the brand that the company didn't like. So there is the option that some people may feel that way with Disney Plus. Now, if you're paying for Disney Plus, and then there's going to be a new free ad supported version of Disney Plus, is that going to have some type of impact on that perceived value or prestige of the Disney Plus streaming service brand? Then on the other hand, obviously some people are, because of resources, more people will be able to view Disney Plus if it's ad supported and it's free. Um, that's always a positive, to increase those numbers. And just outside of increasing those numbers, increase the number of people that can be entertained by this streaming service. That's a generally good thing. And it's just really interesting that this could be the future of streaming entertainment. I think it was seen by a lot of people and analysts that when Comcast decided to go with a free model, ad-supported model, and a paid model, um, there people aren't sure if that really worked out for Comcast, if they should have chosen one or the other. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Disney Plus now. Now, I'm not suggesting that on the whole, most of the people that pay for Disney Plus right now will stop paying for a subscription, because it's now free through the ad-supported um, method, or ad-supported version of it. And I'm also interested to see how much revenue the Walt Disney Company would bring in through this ad-supported revenue model, because um, the streaming service already has a lot of subscribers. And I know they're trying to grow and grow rapidly to reach and truly compete with Netflix. But I'm interested to see what advertisers, what value they see in an ad-supported service, when there are already so many people paying for the service and therefore would not see those ads. And so I'm interested from that perspective to see. But the reason I think these two are tied together is the movement to put a program like Dancing with the Stars on Disney Plus. They're obviously taking that from ABC, which is a free terrestrial channel, and they're putting it on a paid service. So I think they stand the chance to possibly lose some viewers of that program. So putting it on an ad supported model may work for the people that want to watch that program, don't really want to watch anything else, and therefore will watch because now they don't have to pay for it. It's all really, really interesting. And as we've talked about many times, within the streaming service market. There are so many changes going on, so many moves going on. Things have really been sped up over the last 2 years with the pandemic. And so it's really interesting to see all of these moves and what these companies are going to do for this. And so I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it fosters more conversation, and I look forward to talking about it more. Thank you. Have a great day.